Buy your perfect product fails. While Red Star Express in Nigeria keeps winning customers you never thought existed, here is a question that keeps most founders awake at night. What if the customer you are building for does not exist, but the one who will actually pay you is someone you have never spoken to? That is exactly the problem Red Star Express in Nigeria solved. And they did it in an industry most people think is boring. Logistics, courier services, freight, and warehousing. Yet while other companies burn cash on ads hoping strangers care, Red Star Express quietly built a system that finds the right customer first, then tests the product on them before spending big. If you are an entrepreneur, unemployed, underemployed, or trying to ideate your next product, this story is your blueprint. We are going to break down how Red Star Express identifies potential customers and tests products using real people, real money, and real feedback. No theory, no fluff, just what works on the streets of Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and beyond. This is part 1 of a 3-part series. Today we start with the foundation. How to know who your real customer is before you waste 1 naira. Part 1. Stop guessing who will buy. Red Star Express method for finding gold in plain sight. Most companies start with a product. Red Star Express starts with a person. Walk into their office in Lagos, and you will not hear, "Let us build an app first." You will hear, "Who is bleeding money moving goods from Alaba to Kano today?" That shift in thinking is why they have stayed profitable while dozens of Uber for logistics startups in Nigeria shut down. So how do they identify a potential customer? And how do they test if that customer will actually pay? Let us break it down. The real meaning of potential customer, and why most get it wrong. A potential customer is not everyone who ships packages. If you define it that way, you have already lost. For Red Star Express, a potential customer has 3 traits. 1. They already spend money solving the problem you want to solve. Red Star does not try to convince people who use buses to send documents that they should use courier services. They go after SMEs in Computer Village, Ikeja, who already spend 20,000 naira weekly on dispatch riders, but complain about theft and no tracking. If the money is already leaving their pocket, your job is to redirect it, not create new spending. Compare that with many logistics startups. They target every Nigerian and end up marketing to students who only send a birthday gift once a year. No volume, no profit, no business. Red Star knows, follow the cash that is already flowing. 2. A full measurable pain right now. When Red Star launched its medical logistics service, they did not start with all hospitals. They started with diagnostic centers in Lagos that were losing samples because Okada riders got stuck in traffic. 1 lost sample equals 1 angry patient and 1 lost 50,000 naira test fee. That pain is specific, urgent, and has a naira value. If you cannot put a number on the customer as pain, you do not have a customer yet. Other companies make the mistake of selling convenience. Convenience does not open wallets. Stopping a 50,000 naira loss today does. 3. They can say yes without a committee. Red Star's early e-commerce delivery customers were not Jumia or Konga. They were Instagram vendors in Yaba with 2 employees. Why? A big company needs 6 meetings to approve a new courier. An Instagram vendor can switch to you by 5 p.m. today. If you promise same-day delivery in Lekki, test with the person who can decide fast. Scale later. That is the filter Red Star Express uses before they even design a service. Now, how do they test? How Red Star tests a product before going all in. The Lagos Island first rule. Red Star does not do national rollouts. They do what I call street-level experiments. Here is what that looks like. Step 1. Find 1 cluster of 10 customers with the same urgent pain. For their small business prepaid envelope, they went to Yaba Tech Hubs and found 10 startups mailing contracts to Abuja weekly. Same route, same pain, same volume. Step 2. Sell them a manual, ugly version first. No app, no website update, just a phone number, a paper receipt book, and a promise. We will pick up before 12 p.m. and deliver in Abuja. 10 m. My must. 1 dispatch rider. 1 operations guy. Total cost to test. less than 2 weeks' salary. Other companies build the app first, then look for users. Red Star finds 10 users first, then decides if code is worth writing. Step 3. Measure one thing. Repeat purchase within 7 days. Have 6 out of 10 customers use you again without being chased. You have a product. If not, you kill it or change it. Red Star's team calls this the Java test. If it fails in Java, it will fail in Nigeria. Compare that with companies that launch with billboards. They measure awareness. Red Star measures, did the same customer pay us twice? Awareness does not pay salaries. Repeat cash does. Why this works in Nigeria specifically, and what you can steal. Nigeria punishes you for guessing. Fuel price changes. Roads flood. Police checkpoints appear. So Red Star's model is built for low-risk learning. They test in areas they control. Lagos Island to Ikeja is predictable. Sokoto to Maiduguri is not. Master the small loop before you bet on the whole country. They use existing assets. Instead of buying new bikes for a test, they assign one bike from the existing fleet for 2 weeks. If it works, they buy more. If not, no loss. Too many founders raise money to buy assets for scale before they have one paying customer. They charge from day one. Red Star never does free trials for logistics. If the customer will not pay 1,500 naira to test, they will not pay 10,000 naira later. Free users lie. Paying users tell the truth. Your first exercise. The Red Star filter for your idea. If you are ideating a product today, do this before you design a logo. 1. Write down who is already spending money weekly to solve this problem. Not who could benefit. Who is spending right now. 2. Call 3 of them. Ask, what was the last time this problem cost you money? If they cannot give you a date and amount, they are not your customer yet. 3. Offer to solve it manually for 1 week at a price. No app, no pitch deck, just you and your phone. If they say yes and pay, you are onto something. Red Star Express did not become Nigeria's leading courier by accident. They became it by refusing to guess. While others were raising millions to educate the market, Red Star was asking one question. Who is already losing money, and can we stop the bleeding today? In Part 2, we will break down the 8 principles Red Star Express uses to identify and test products on customers. For each principle, I will show you how they do it, how other companies mess it up, and what you can apply even if you are starting with zero capital. Because here is the truth. You do not need more ideas. You need a better way to find the person who will pay for the one you have. Want Part 2? Subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I will break down the 8 Red Star principles with real scripts, real numbers, and a template you can use this week. Do not just read about customers. Go get yours. See you in Part 2. The 8 rules Red Star Express will not tell you, but they use daily to find paying customers before their competitors wake up. If Part 1 was about unlearning the lie that everyone is your customer, Part 2 is where we get our hands dirty. Red Star Express in Nigeria does not have a secret formula. They have 8 boring, repeatable principles. Boring wins. Sexy fails. These 8 principles are how they identify who will actually pay and how they test a product before betting the whole company on it. If you are unemployed, underemployed, or building your first product, copy this page for page. Let us go in. Part 2. The Red Star Playbook. 8 principles for finding real customers and testing without going broke. Principle 1. Follow the money trail, not the population. What Red Star Express does. They map where Naira is already being spent to solve a problem. In 2019, before they pushed hard into e-commerce logistics, Red Star's team sat in Computer Village IKEA for 1 week. They did not count foot traffic. They counted how many traders paid dispatch riders, how much, and how often. They found that a single phone accessory shop spent 30,000 naira weekly on bike guys with no insurance and no tracking. That was the trail. How they explain it inside the company. If money is not already moving, we are not the first to move it. How other companies mess up. They say Nigeria has 200 million people, so if 1% use us, that math has killed more startups than SARs. 1% of nothing is nothing. Red Star does not chase population. They chase payments. What you should do. This week, find 3 people already paying to fix the problem you want to solve. Ask to see a receipt. No receipt, no customer. Principle 2. Shrink the map until the pain is loud. What Red Star Express does. They never test Legos. They test medical labs along Isaac John Street in Ikeja, sending samples to Yaba before 11 a.m. The tighter the geography, the louder the pain. When they built their temperature-controlled medical delivery, they started with 5 labs in a 2-kilometer radius. Same traffic, same urgency, same complaint. Why it works. In Nigeria, Mushin and Magodo are 2 different countries. A service that works in Lekki Phase 1 can die in Ajagunle. Red Star shrinks the map so they can control variables. How other companies mess up. They launched nationwide on day 1. DHL can do that. You cannot. You end up with a customer in Gombe angry about a delay you cannot fix, and you burn reputation before you learn. What you should do. Draw a circle on a map that you can walk across in 30 minutes. If you cannot find 10 potential customers in that circle, your idea is too early. Principle 3. Sell the ugly version first, then ask if they want beauty. What Red Star Express does. Their SME prepaid pack was first sold as a brown envelope with a handwritten serial number and a phone call for pickup. No portal. The promise was simple. Drop it at our Allen Avenue office before 2 p.m. It gets to Abuja tomorrow morning. Only after 200 repeat buys did they print branded packs and add barcodes. Why it works. Code hides the truth. When a customer has to call you, you hear the objection live. When they use an app, they just uninstall and you never know why. How other companies mess up. They spend 6 months building a logistics app with live tracking, then find out vendors only care about, will it get there tomorrow? Red Star learned that truth for free. Others pay developers to learn it too late. What you should do. Can you deliver your product this week with WhatsApp, a notebook, and your legs? If not, you are building for your ego, not the customer. Principle 4. The repeat test beats the first sale. What Red Star Express does. They do not celebrate the first sale. They celebrate the 3rd sale from the same customer within 10 days. For their Red Star Express same-day Lagos service, the rule was 6 out of 10 test customers must use us again in 7 days without a discount. If not, the pilot dies. Why it works. Anyone can be tricked once. No one pays twice for pain. Repeat purchase is the only metric that tells you product market fit in Nigeria, because word of mouth is everything, and Dash is unsustainable. How other companies mess up. They launch promos with 50% off, get 1,000 users, raise money, then crash when the promo ends. Red Star would rather have 10 full-paying loyalists than 1,000 discount chasers. What you should do not ask, will you buy? Ask, will you buy again next week at this price? Then wait and see. Principle 5. Use their words, not your broker. What Red Star Express does. When Instagram vendors kept saying, I need Waybill that will not disgrace me, Red Star did not call it SNE Logistics Optimization. They named it Red Star on Time Pack and wrote, no disgrace delivery on flyers. They use the customer's language. Why it works. Nigerians do not buy last mile efficiency. They buy make sure my customer, no curse me. If your product name needs explaining, you have already lost. How other companies mess up. They hire a brand consultant who gives them swift haul and nimble freight. Market women hear that and keep walking. Red Star hires field officers who write down exact phrases customers shout when angry. What you should do. Record 5 potential customers describing the problem. Use their exact words in your offer. Kill your dictionary. Principle 6. Find the gatekeeper who feels the fire. What Red Star Express does. In big organizations, the 1,500 does not care if a document is late. The secretary who will be queried does. Red Star trains salespeople to find the person who will be in trouble if this fails. For banks, it is the dispatch officer. For hospitals, it is the lab manager. Sell to the fire, not the title. Why it works. The gatekeeper becomes your internal salesperson. They will fight for you in meetings because their job is on the line. How other companies mess up. They pitch the CEO who nods and forgets. The officer who handles the problem daily never hears of them. Red Star knows. Budgets are approved at the top, but usage is decided at the bottom. What you should do? Ask, who gets shouted at when this goes wrong? That is where real customer. Bring them suya. Principle 7. Price to kill. The alternative, not to look cheap. What Red Star Express does. They do not try to be the cheapest. They price to be cheaper than the customer's total cost of failure. If a lost medical sample costs lab 50,000 naira and a patient, Red Star can charge 8,000 naira for guaranteed delivery and still be a bargain. They do not compare with Okada. They compare with loss. Why it works. In Nigeria, cheap is suspicious. Reliable is valuable. Red Star would rather lose a customer who wants 200 naira delivery than gain one who will blame them when it fails. How other companies mess up. They enter price wars with random bike guys. Then they cannot pay riders, so packages vanish. Red Star learned. You cannot out-cheat chaos. You out-reliable it. What you should do. Calculate what it costs your customer when your solution fails. Price at 1/5 of that. You will never be too expensive again. Principle 8. Cow fast, learn faster, do not apologize. What Red Star Express does. They tested a food delivery arm in 2018 for 2 weeks in Victoria Island. After 12 days, they saw riders were late because restaurants lied about prep time. They shut it down on day 14. No press release. No ego. The lesson went into their e-commerce delivery playbook. Only work with vendors who pre-pack. Why it works. In Nigeria, speed of death is speed of learning. Red Star treats small failures like R&D budget, not like shame. How other companies mess up. They keep a dead product alive for 2 years because we have invested so much. That is sunk cost thinking. Red Star would rather be called a quitter than be broke. What you should do. Set a kill date before you start. If we do not have 15 repeat customers by day 20, we stop. Write it down. Honor it. 3 mistakes other companies make while Red Star eats their lunch. Mistake 1. They bill for the market, not for Mama Choka. Other companies say SMEs need logistics. Red Star says Mama Chica in Yaba ships 5 dresses to Port Harcourt every Tuesday, and her last rider stole 2. One is a theory. One is a person with money. Theory does not pay. Mama Chica does. Mistake 2. They use investor money to fake traction. They subsidize every delivery, claim growth, and pray. Red Star uses customer money to prove traction. If you need outside cash to get your first 10 repeat buyers, you do not have a business. You have a charity. Mistake 3. They scale chaos. They get 20 orders from 20 states in week 1 and collapse. Red Star will reject a customer in Abadan if they have not mastered Ikeja. They know. Scale multiplies what you are. If you are broken at small size, you will be bankrupt at big size. Lessons learned. You can use tomorrow morning 1. A customer is not someone who likes your idea. A customer is someone who has paid you twice. 2. Nigeria rewards depth, not width. Own 1 street before you claim 1 state. 3. The best market research is a paid invoice. Everything else is just. 4. If you're embarrassed by your first version, you waited too long to sell it. If you're proud of it, you spent too much before testing. Red Star Express did not become a leader by being flashy. They did it by being disciplined. While others were doing Pan-African expansion, Red Star was asking, did Auntie Ngozi in Surulere get her package by 4 p.m.? In part 3, we will put it all together. I will give you a 1-page Red Star test sheet you can use to identify your potential customer and run your first experiment in 7 days, even if you have 0 naira for ads. We will also talk about how unemployed and underemployed people can use these principles to start a service business with what is in their hands today. Do not miss part 3. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, I drop the exact scripts Red Star field officers use, and I will show you how to adapt them for your idea. The difference between you and Red Star is not capital, it is process. Let us build yours. See you in the final part. The 7-Day Red Star Challenge, how to get your first paying customer. This week, even if you are broke, unknown, and scared, you have seen the problem. You have seen the 8 principles. Now it is time to move. Most people read about Red Star Express in Nigeria and say, that is for big companies. Wrong. Red Star's playbook was built in the trenches, one brown envelope at a time, before they had nationwide branches. The same system works if you are unemployed in Makurdi, underemployed in Benin, or building your first side hustle from your room in Festac. This is part 3. Today you get a 1-page test sheet. No funding, no app, no excuses. Just 7 days from idea to paid customer, the Red Star way. Part 3. The Red Star test sheet. From zero to paid customer. In 7 days print this. Fill it with a pen. If you cannot answer a line, you are not ready to build. That is the point. Day 1. Find the bleeding wallet. Write the answer to this. Who already spent money last week because this problem hurt them? Not who, mate. Who did? Red Star Express found Instagram vendors who lost sales because dispatch riders came late. The vendor had already refunded customers. That refund is your opportunity. Your task today. List 5 names and phone numbers of people who lost money to this problem in the last 7 days. If you cannot name 5, pick a different problem. No bleeding, no business. Day 2. Shrink to 1 street. Pick one tight location you can walk. For Red Star, it was Allen Avenue to Opibi. For you, it might be all the tailors inside Ketu Plaza or pharmacies along UNN Road in Nusuka. Why? Because Nigeria is not one market. Traffic in Wos is not traffic in Nyayana. You must control the route before you scale it. Your task today. Draw the circle. If it takes more than 20 minutes to cross, it is too big. Day 3. Build a Guli offer. No logo. No website. Just a promise you can keep with your hands today. Red Star's first SME offer was, we pick up before 12 p.m., deliver Abuja tomorrow 10 a.m., or we refund you. In 1 rider, 1 phone, 1 book. Your task today, write your promise in 1 sentence, using the customer's words. Then add a price that is 1/5 of their cost of failure. If a late dress costs a vendor 10,000 naira, you charge 2,000 naira and still look like a lifesaver. Day 4. Say to the person who gets queried, call the 5 people from day 1. Do not pitch. Ask this. The last time this problem happened, who shouted at you? That person is your buyer. For Red Star, it was not the 1,500. It was the admin officer who gets blamed when contracts arrive late. Your task today. Talk to the gatekeeper. Offer to solve the problem for them this week, manually. If they say send a proposal, you have lost. If they say, can you come today, you have won. Day 5. Demand money. On day 1, free trials lie. Red Star never ran free logistics. If the pain is real, the customer will pay to test. Your task today, collect cash or transfer before you do the work. If they say, we will pay after delivery, say, I understand, but my test only works with upfront customers, so I can guarantee focus. The ones who walk away were never customers. The one who pays is your teacher. Day 6. Track 1 metric. Did they come back? Forget likes. Forget comments. Ask, did the same person pay you again within 3 days without you begging? Red Star's rule is simple. 6 out of 10 must repeat in 7 days. If not, the product is dead, and they are grateful it only cost them 1 week. Your task today, call your first customer. Do not sell. Ask, what went wrong? If they buy again, you have a start. If not, you have data. Both are profit. Day 7. Kill it, or dibble it. Look at your sheet. If you do not have at least 2 repeat pairs, kill the idea today. Mourn for 10 minutes. Then start day 1 again with a new bleeding wallet. If you do have repeat pairs, double down on that 1 street. Do not add new cities. Do not print flyers. Serve those to customers like your life depends on it, because it does. Red Star grew by being faithful in Allen Avenue before they touched Ike. That is the whole sheet. For 7 days. 0 naira in ads. Just courage and a phone. How unemployed and underemployed people can use this tomorrow. You do not need a warehouse. Red Star started by using other people's buses and one rented bike. Here is how you adapt it. 1. Start with your skill, not your dream. If you can write, your first customer is the final year student in your area who already pays a cafe to 1,000 naira to type a project. Offer to type and print for 1,800 naira with pickup. You have just done logistics. If you can cook, your first customer is the office worker who already buys food from a dirty buka. Your edge is clean and on time. 2. Use the assets around you. Red Star did not buy trucks to test medical delivery. They scheduled one van they already had. You can use your neighbor's freezer, your church bus on weekends, your brother's dispatch bike after 6 p.m. A test is not about ownership. It is about access. Free, sell relief, not revolution. The unemployed think they need to launch a startup. Red Star thinks they need to stop Mama Tope from losing customers. Find one person, stop one loss, collect one payment. That is a business. The rest is grammar. 3 more mistakes that bury good people with good ideas. We covered 3 in part 2. Here are 3 more that kill founders silently. Mistake 1. They fall in love with the product, not the payday. Other companies tweak their ad for months. Red Star tweaks their customer list weekly. If the people you are calling this week are not the people who paid last week, you are dating, not doing business. Love your customer. Be willing to cheat on your product. Mistake 2. They outsource the pain. They hire marketers to find customers they have never spoken to. Red Star sends managers to sit in Yaba and hear insults live. If you have not been shouted at by a customer, you do not know your business. Pain teaches faster than PowerPoint. Mistake 3. They celebrate noise, not notes. 10,000 followers is noise. 10,000 naira from one repeat customer is a note. Notes make music. Noise gives headaches. Red Star frames the first repeat receipt and hangs it in the office. You should too. Lessons learned from the Red Star Way. 1. In Nigeria, trust is the product. Speed is the marketing. Everything else is packaging. 2. You do not find customers. You find cash flow and walk upstream to who owns it. 3. The size of your idea does not matter. The size of your first circle does. Dominate a room before you address a stadium. 4. The fastest way to raise money is to stop needing it. 2 repeat customers will teach you more than 2 million naira will. 5. If you are not embarrassed to tell someone your price, you charge too little. If they do not flinch, you solve too little. Red Star Express did not win because Nigeria is easy. They won because they respected how hard Nigeria is. They built a system that assumes fuel will rise, riders will disappoint, and customers will be impatient. Then they engineered around it. You can too. Your turn. The 7-day challenge. Do not close this and think about it. Thinking is how poor people stay poor. Today is day 1. Find the bleeding wallet. In 7 days, you will either have a paying customer or you will have proof. Your idea needs to change. Both are victories. The only loss is doing nothing. I will be breaking down live case studies of people using this Red Star test sheet on my YouTube channel. I will show you their WhatsApp scripts, their pricing math, and how they got the first 2 repeat buyers. No theory, just receipts. Subscribe to the channel now so you do not miss it. Comment day 1 when you have listed your 5 bleeding wallets. I will reply with what to say on the call. You do not need permission to start. You need a customer. Red Star found theirs. Now go find yours.